Good evening, my name is Rohit Srivastava, and in this video we are going to talk about the economic fallout from the COVID-19 crisis and what are the tools, both economic and other social or policy related tools that are at the disposal of the in front of Indian government and Central Bank of India (RBI) to tackle the crisis and probably come out of the other end with as a whole. So to start with, first of all, we have to understand that there is a crude difference between 2008 crisis and the 2020 financial crisis that we are facing right now. 2008 crisis was completely a crisis induced by the demand side, and it was a purely fiscal crisis, financial crisis, so to speak. But the 2020 crisis is here both the demand and the supply sides have been, taken a hit, and it's a life and death scenario. Also, for the last 7 quarters, the Indian GDP was seeing a downtrend, and there was a fear looming for the global recession. Now, in this already bad situation, the crisis has hit, and hence the economic fallout will be more severe. Also, we are seeing a global shift in the dynamics and the power play, which will impact the Indian foreign relations and thereby the economic decisions that Indian government and the RBI takes in the upcoming future. Given we can see that we know that shell companies of US need a $50 mark to cross the $50 mark to record a profit, but the Russia, on the other hand, the Russian companies are pushing down, not pushing down on the production of the crude oil, and hence due to the lack of demand, the prices have been wavering around $20 to $25 per barrel. Also, due to the already price war and trade war going between the US and the China, definitely it may happen in the upcoming future. After the fallout, after all the lockdowns on the global scale have been lifted up due to the COVID-19, India may have to choose a side, and the bipartisanship policy of India might not work as well as it had been working in the past. Also, we have to also realize in the Indian context what happens when the whole country shuts down. To take a crude analogy of car, when we get out of our home and start the car with the key, the car starts in 1 second or 2 seconds, but it does not happen in the economy. So economy will take a long time, maybe probably 7, 8 or even 1 year to get back to its normal pace. It takes time to stop, and also it takes time, probably even larger time, to start. Also, India right now, as we have read in the newspaper and all the analysis that have been there, that there has been a labor shortage in India, and it's quite an irony given the demographic dividend that we keeps on listening in all over the analysis that is out there. Around 130 million migrant laborers are going to face a scare of job loss, to speak the least, and the whole uncertainty around the situation has only made the matter worse. Plus, we have to also understand from the given directives from the Prime Minister's office and what the Prime Minister said today in the press as well, the economic uplifting of the lockdown in one go will not be possible. So it has to be done in a staggered manner. But how and which areas will be started first, and in how many phases will be there for the uplifting the lockdown, it will be decided by the government, and we don't know as of now. So there is an uncertainty looming around that. Also, we have to realize that it might be a good news amongst so many bad news around the country right now, that the Rabi crop that we had from the winter season has been quite wonderful, but we need someone for harvesting it, and given the labor crisis that we are having right now, crisis we are having right now, government is actually pushing on its ENAM agenda and to re-establish the broken chain from the farm to fork. This whole supply chain has to be rebuilt and reinstated from the government side, so that the farmers don't be at the receiving end. Also, we know that even though the main revenue sources for the central government, though they have been left intact as of now, but the different states that we have in the country, their sources for revenue have taken hit. For example, no one is going to movie theaters anymore, no one is going to petrol pumps anymore, no one is going to buy liquor in states that are not dry. So all these are causing states to asking to push back on the government, because we all know during the GST convention, from the convention of GST, they have given up their fiscal sovereignty to the government, so that government will be the one tax collector and they will give back their share back to the states. But again, government right now is facing with lot many problems, and this one will only lead different capital expenditure projects in different states to be stalled, and only the revenue expense projects will be undertaken. So as we have said, now discussed, the state's finances and tax collection has also taken a hit. So we are also seeing different Dow Jones index, even the Sensex, Nifty taking a hit and plunging, and the variance has been quite high. So the reason is because of the crisis of confidence. It will take, one thing is certain there, that it will take time for things to get normal. It will take maybe even 2 years or 3 years to even see a positive trend in the Indian GDP growth, or an increase in the per capita income, if so to speak. And also it has been said that the global recession has been on the onset right now. We have to understand that all the venture capitalists that are out there, they are not going to invest right away once the lockdown is lifted. They are going to wait and see how the things pan out, so that they will be in a better position to take the decision. We have also to discuss see how markets move by sentiments, and there has been a $2.2 trillion economic package announced by the rich countries like America, but the third richest country in terms of third superpower country, so to speak, in terms of the in terms of this planet, only less than 1% of the GDP package stimulus has been announced. So from all the analysis that I have gathered from different sources, it's clear for us that the government is going to announce the stimulus packages in a phased manner. So it will in turn also help maybe in the future, but one thing has to be kept in mind by the government and the RBI itself, that unless the confidence of the investors will not be reinstated, the economic activity will not be able to return back to its normalcy as soon as we want it to be. Also, we know that the state has to step in. Huge monetary policies and fiscal stimulus packages have to be announced. All those fiscal prudence laws and the structures that are there, for example, the FRBM Act has to be tossed out of the window. Right now, it's the time for stimulus packages and not the time for fiscal prudence, because people's lives are at stakes, and if the economic fallout is not being contained, then maybe the life losses from economic fallout or an economic crisis will be a lot more than what will be there from the disease and the pandemic itself. Also, we are seeing various democratic governments going for the authoritarian stance over it. We have the problem of Viktor Orban over there in Hungary, and how he has decided that it's rule by decree scenarios there. So India should also make it clear for its investor that such situation will not happen in India, and our constitution and our democratic structure will not take a hit even in the face of this pandemic. We know G20 has announced a $5 trillion economic package, but though it represents the 80% of the world GDP, a whole umbrella-like decision from the UN level has to be taken, and right now entrepreneurs are going to be the best friends of the for the government if government really wants to get out of this crisis as fast as possible. We know cash flows for the various businesses is going to take a hit, and if the different businesses won't have the cash flows, there has to be a massive job destruction, massive layoffs will be there, and the uncertainty in future regarding the future and the intensity with which this economic fallout will hit India, the recession will hit India, is the one that needs the biggest medicine. To end this video, economic reconstruction on a global level has to be taken, and Indian government should work with multilateralism in mind, and who knows, there might be a silver lining for Indian in this crisis as well, and maybe we will emerge even stronger than we were before the crisis. With that optimistic note, I would like to end this video, and thank you for listening.